item is our citizens' presentation. Citizens are offered an opportunity to address the board at its public meetings with comments and concerns related to the district's business and public policy. Citizens wanting to address the board are required to register on the sign-up sheet found at the entrance of the meeting room. The sign-up sheet was made available 1 hour before the meeting and removed at the beginning of the meeting. Only citizens who have completely and timely registered up on the sign-in sheet will be called to speak. We do ask that when you're called upon that only the speaker approach the podium. We respectfully ask that you do not approach the board dais. Any handout for trustees must be provided to our board services coordinators. The citizens requesting to address the board are asked to present concerns related to district matters and or public policy. The board requests that presentations not include statements that may be considered defamatory, and the board further requests that citizens not mention student names unless the student is a child of the citizen. This evening we have 64 citizens signed up to speak, so each individual signed up will be given a maximum of 2 minutes to address the board, and individuals' time may not be relinquished to another speaker. I will now call up on those individuals who have signed up to speak, and we're going to start with Cynthia Beaver. Following Ms. Beaver, we have Danielle Salgado.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Aquino. My name is Cynthia Beaver, and I stand before you as a TEA designated elementary school teacher and certified reading specialist with 15 years of experience across 4 states and spanning pre-K through 6th grade. I have implemented nearly every major curriculum on the market. I'm not here to talk about my preferences. I'm here to talk about the science of survival for our district as a member of the Curriculum Review Committee. Curriculum is the bedrock of everything we do. It is the single greatest predictor of student success and failure. We are currently at a crossroads, and the decision you make tonight will determine if we finally bridge our achievement gaps or continue the downward spiral that has led us into our current standing. We must adopt a curriculum that is unapologetically rooted in the science of reading, provided a comprehensive balance of foundational skills and deep comprehension through the 5th grade. We cannot afford to get what we pay for by choosing the cheapest path. The Bluebonnet curriculum is essentially a rebrand version of Amplify. The data is clear. 95% of our district schools using it have failed to close gaps, and many remain simply failing. We cannot double down on the proven losing program that lacks foundational skills in the upper elementary grades. The Solvis program is incomplete. It forces us to piecemeal components together, if not purchased in its entirety, because of all the separate things that are from the base program, creating an unnecessary burden on district personnel and teachers. Furthermore, it is fundamentally inequitable for our dual language population. HMH curriculum is the only complete package. It was the overwhelming and for many the only choice of the curriculum committee. It provides a seamless, equitable experience across SLAR, ELAR, and for our special populations, and it includes intervention tools that we desperately need without requiring us to hunt or create supplements. I am fully aware that we are facing a deficit. However, choosing an incomplete, cheaper program is a false economy. And by the time you pay for the necessary supplements and losing man hours required to bridge the gap, it is an inferior product. The costs equalize, but the outcomes to our students do not. We must find the money within this current budget. I have other things to say, but it got caught. Maybe we don't need all this.
Thank you. Next, Danielle Salgado. Following Salgado, we have Ayana Ari.
Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Aquino. My name is Danielle Salgado, and I'm a 5th grade dual language teacher at Carvajal. I speak to you today not just as an educator, but as an advocate for the future of our dual language students. As we look forward to next year's curriculum adoption, we are in a critical juncture. Our choice will determine whether we simply provide materials or whether we provide a bridge to biliteracy. I am here to strongly recommend the adoption of the HMH program for our dual language classrooms. We are seeing an ever-increasing gap in literacy achievement, particularly for our English language learners as they move into upper elementary years. By the time students reach 5th grade, the complexity of academic language shifts significantly. HMH stands out because it doesn't bypass the science of reading for our bilingual learners. It embraces it It provides robust foundational skills, including phonics, decoding, and fluency, that are often missing in other programs that assume these skills will simply appear through immersion. For a student navigating two languages, these explicit skills are the toolkit they need to fill persistent learning gaps and reach grade level mastery. Beyond the mechanics of reading, there is the heart of reading. Our students in San Antonio deserve to see their lives, their families, and their heritage reflected in the pages of the books they see in their classrooms every day. HMH's curriculum features passages and diverse perspectives that mirror our students' lived experiences. When a student sees themselves in a story, engagement soars. This isn't just about representation. It is about building the background knowledge and confidence necessary for deep comprehension. In conclusion, I believe we have a responsibility to give each one of our students the strongest possible send-off into a future full of choices. I urge the board to prioritize a curriculum that truly meets the needs of our dual language community. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to our students.
Thank you. Next, Ayana Irick. And after Ms. Irick, we have Maribel Gardina.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Mrs. Irick. I'm a teacher at our SAISD community, and I've chosen to speak today to expose an error in closing Rhodes Middle School and bringing in third future schools. If I could clarify some points regarding third future schools. First, they have no cultural ties to our community in San Antonio or Texas or in our local community. Second, athletics would be reduced or completely removed. Third, electives would be reduced or completely eliminated. Next, all current teachers, if they decide they will go with third future schools, would have to reapply. And after that, it was never mentioned about the possibility of the closure of Rhodes and the kids going to FOIA. In addition, let me go ahead and skip. There were 4 opportunities that the board could have let us know about the partnership going forward and also about the closure of Rhodes. The first opportunity was when we had our regular meeting at our school. The second opportunity was when Third Future Schools was introduced to us. The third opportunity was when it was introduced to the community. The fourth opportunity was when there were additional questions that were answered. So again, at no point during those 4 opportunities was it mentioned of a school closure or that the partnership was going to go ahead and go through. The very first time that we heard of the school closure and the partnership was set was on Tuesday, March 17th. That's also the day that FOIA realized that all the kids from Rhodes were going to go over there. We know you were probably pushed to state the closure because of the report for San Antonio report. That also makes me think that perhaps this was planned far and ahead, and the closure was planned far and ahead without ensuring in multiple conversations that that's what the students, the parents, the teachers, or the staff wanted. I can't help feeling that this process has been in motion and has been built on a lie, and that certainly can't be good for our students or SAISD schools. And there is still a chance to make it right. Please vote no on Third Future Schools. Please vote no on closing Rhodes. Reinvest heavily, every penny, back into our traditional schools and keep Rhodes resilient and rising.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Maribel Gardea, soy madre y fundadora de una organización de padres, el Instituto de Padres Mind Shift Ed. It's okay. No, I'm going to do both, and I'm going to do 1 minute in Spanish and 1 minute in English. Thank you. También soy miembro del Consejo Asesor de Educación Especial, known as CPAC, here in SAISD, por más de 8 años. Estoy aquí porque esto no es nuevo, esto es un patrón. Ya vimos cómo pasó el año pasado, ya estamos viendo cómo se está haciendo otra vez. Este es un patrón que se toman decisiones en las familias y las familias pagan el precio. Seamos muy, muy claros, las escuelas no fallan solas, el liderazgo falla. Hoy nuestros estudiantes especialmente todos los estudiantes discapacitados de educación especial, están en riesgo, sin un plan claro, sin un plan de sus servicios, de su colocación y de su estabilidad. Para nuestros hijos, la consistencia no es un lujo, es una necesidad. Lo necesitamos. No estamos aquí para decir que no, estamos aquí para exigir unas exigencias claras, transparencia ante todo, ante cualquier decisión, protección real de servicios, transporte y apoyos, una supervisión independiente, independent from SAISD, con la comunidad. Y si se puede entregar nuestras escuelas a otros, también ustedes pueden trabajar con nosotros y entregarnos una escuela a la comunidad también. Incluyan a las familias, que ellos son la solución, porque sin las familias no hay confianza. No dividan nuestras escuelas, trabajen con nosotros. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. I'm going to say it in English. Good evening, my name is Maribel Gardea. I am the parent of students here in SAISD, and I'm also a founder of MindShift Parent Institute, a member of the Special Education Advisory Council for over 8 years. What we are seeing is not new, it's a pattern of decisions made without families, and families are paying the price. We're going to be really clear. Schools do not fail on their own, the leadership does. Today our students, especially those in special education, are at risk without clear plans for services, placement, or stability. For our children, consistency is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We are not here to just say no, we are here with clear expectations. Transparency before any decisions are made, protection of services for students with disabilities and supports, and if you can give our schools to others, you can work with us to create a school as well. Includes families in these solutions, because without families, there's no trust. Do not divide our schools, work with us. We are here, we are not going anywhere. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Aaron McWarther. I believe it's hard to make it out. And then following, we have Cheryl Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Erin McWhorter. I'm a 4th grade reading teacher at Hirsch Elementary. I've worked there for 4 years. For the past 4 years, I have watched Hirsch transform in so many ways you cannot see on paper. I have witnessed children realize their potential in real time, seen students who would never stay in class find a teacher and a classroom where they felt included and important. To us, these students in this community have become a home. We've worked hard to foster safe spaces because every student that walks through our doors is more than a number, more than a test score, and more than data on a spreadsheet. However, it feels as though to this district that is all our students are. I'm so sorry. I think I had my record on and it recorded the other speech in the middle of mine. Okay, I'm so sorry. It feels as though to this district that's all our students are. A pass or a fail, a B or a D. And I would like to mention that all of the teachers at Hirsch were well aware that we have been low performing, but we have been low performing for years before I got there. And I can tell you that increased district presence and resources and help did not start until last school year. It has been it feels as though you did not pay us any attention until a state takeover became a possibility, and that you ignored the embers of a fire and the plumes of smoke in the years leading up to this, until it was a 4-alarm fire and everything, and it was too late. We didn't have enough time to bridge the gaps that you were asking. Now, you guys, the same district that overlooked our campus and our kids for years is ready to dust their hands, claiming it's for the best interest of the students. You aren't just announcing a charter takeover, you are publicly admitting that you have given up not only on the students, but the teachers as well. The day after this partnership was announced, all of our instructional support was pulled by the district. We have been bearing the weight of these scores for 2 years under threat of takeover. There wasn't a day this year where we weren't reminded what was at stake. We were expected to be superhuman, never having a bad day or an off moment, only for you all to pull the rug before our students even tested, before the data even came in. You guys are done. What makes...
That's your time, I'm sorry.
They got to go over time, but I don't.
Our
No?
next speaker is Cheryl Gonzalez. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Good evening, members of San Antonio ISD Board. My name is Cheryl Gonzalez, and I'm here to speak on the proposed closure of Rhodes Middle School and the reassignment of its students to Tafoya Middle School. According to district data, this decision is being driven by declining enrollment, budget constraints, and academic accountability ratings. These are serious challenges, and I recognize the responsibility of the board to address them. However, research consistently shows that the school closures can have significant negative impacts on student outcomes, particularly for low-income and historically underserved communities. Studies from the Learning Policy Institute and other national research organizations have found that students displaced by school closures often experience decline in academic performances, increased absentees, and social emotional stress due to the loss of familiar teachers, peers, and environment. In this case, Rhodes students are being reassigned to Tafoya Middle School, which will be operated by Third Future Schools under a partnership model. While this arrangement is allowed under Texas law, it raises important questions about grievance and accountability. Charter-operated campuses often have different staffing structures, and teachers may be required to reapply for their positions, which can lead to staff overturn and reduce continuity for students. Additionally, transportation and access must be carefully considered. Even a relatively short distance, approximately 2 miles, can create real barriers for families without reliable transportation, potentially affecting attendance and engagement. From a financial perspective, while closure may reduce operational costs, they can also introduce hidden costs, including student transportation support, transportation adjustments, and potential declines in enrollment if families leave the district. Given these factors, I respectfully urge the board to ensure that this decision is supported by clear, transparent data showing that it will improve student outcome, not just reduce costs. And I also urge you to provide a detailed transition plan and addresses academic support, staffing, stability, and family access. Our goal should not only be effectiveness, ensuring that every student impacted by this decision is set up for success. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Pedro Ruiz. Following Mr. Ruiz, we have Priscilla Torres and Albert Campbell.
Good afternoon. I'm here to speak about item number 2C, the approval of the closure of Rhodes Middle School as recommended by the district's administration. I don't know if y'all have already made a decision, but that's what we're here for, to make sure that we can advise you not to vote on this just yet, until you hear our voices. I was once at a board meeting like this, spoke my heart out, and they still went ahead and closed Coronado Escobar Elementary, where my kids were at, and they got sent to Stafford. So I can feel the frustration with the parents here behind me, the people gonna have to go ahead and move from one school to another. And I'm in the San Antonio Independent School District, and they closed my school, Page Middle School. I have a lot of history there. I played track and field, soccer, I was a Page Pony. Now I don't have a school. I don't have memory. It's closed. It's like gone. My history is gone. So we have to save our schools, and they closed my school, Page Middle School, and now they want to close down Rhodes Middle School. And I'm against school vouchers, but I'm pro-education. And most Republicans are steering our public schools to go to other schools with vouchers by Hot Wheels, General Hot Wheels, Greg Abbott. And they also want to whitewash our history, but promote Charlie Kirk chapters in every school, which is a white supremacy mixed in with religion, a cult promoted by Greg Abbott. And Hot Wheels, hijo su, ese vato, nombre. Please don't close this school, Rhodes Middle School. Vote the Republicans out of office. They are destroying our schools with their propaganda. Public schools made us who we are today, gave us guts. So I'm not, I hate private or charter schools, but, when it comes to public schools, we love sports. So I played soccer and track and field in middle school, and we need sports in middle schools, not a school of just high intellectuals with GPA of 4.0. And your top 10% should also come from public schools, not just private schools. So make public schools awesome in San Antonio. Support public schools. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Priscilla Torres, and then Albert Campbell. Following Mr. Campbell, we have Ashley Chavez.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Priscilla Torres and I am a mother of 6. I live on the Tafoya School campus. I am here with our community members to oppose the closing of roads and the operation of third future schools within Tafoya Middle School. What we are seeing happening right now in this current moment is a form of negligence and discrimination which is in clear violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, and programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance, which 8% of financial assistance comes from the federal government. Title VI states that covered programs and activities may include but are not limited to admissions, recruitment, financial aid, academic programs, student treatment and services, counseling and guidance, discipline, classroom assignment, grading, vocational education, recreation, physical education, and most importantly, athletics and housing. We need transparency. If Tafoya is stripped of their electives, as they are saying that they're going to do within these school districts, then they should do this across the board to the other school districts, such as Alamo Heights, North Independent School District, Northeast Independent School District. So my question is it true that the third future school will be removing electives from Tafoya Middle School? If so, I would like to know, and if y'all are willing to tell us how to oppose and what the process is to file a complaint against the district, the State of Texas School Board, and the Texas Education Agency. It is such a coincidence that they are targeting schools located in what you all have labeled socio-economically disadvantaged or low-income communities. Yet our tax dollars are used to fund wealthier community schools. As a parent, mother, and community member, I still feel that this is a form of negligence and discrimination toward the Latino communities. The majority of the population in these school zones are comprised of Hispanic Americans. Clearly, this is a result of Governor Abbott and the people who support him to push for the voucher program. They knew if they pushed for the voucher program, funding for public education would be decreased. Not only is this decision displacing our children, our teachers will be displaced or at loss of employment. This is unfair. Our children and our staff members do not deserve this. The Board of Trustees, local and state leaders need to hold themselves accountable. Clearly, our school board or the Board of Trustees do not have a backbone.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Albert Campbell, and I'm against closing roads Middle School because it's been open for almost 80 years and all my family has been going there. And we don't talk so much about the injustice that we've been going through, but nobody has talked about when Mike Miles started the Third Future Schools, a charter system in 2015 with 3 schools in Colorado. All 3 schools have struggled both academic and financially. One of those 3 schools in 2023 with $5 million in unpaid debt. Starting in 2020, the TF expanded to Texas with 3 schools. By 2023, the schools were in $2.68 million in debt. 40% of that $25 million operational budget was being spent on administration costs. And over $2 million was sent from Texas to prop up the finances of the other schools in Colorado, where the money should stay in Texas for Texas citizens and the Texan students can be advanced. You know, only the 22%, 22 operators examined their story, continue to run partnerships in Texas. The Third Future Schools, the nonprofit run by current state imposed Houston Superintendent Mike Miles, the Texas contract with Hector Country ISD was not renewed. The nonprofit said it had plans to end partnership with Beaumont ISD for 3 schools at the end of the school year, but it still operates 4 other schools. We are losing this money when it should be been sending in and keeping it in the SID. Yes, there is no way that we're sending $40-some million to other nonprofit organizations when it should be used for our own students. This is a shameful act. It's taken away from our constitutional rights of being able to live in peace and prosperity. We shall also have to be able to put our money into our children so that way, because they are the future. They are the ones that are going to be in your seats. They are the ones that are going to be in Congress. They are the ones that are going to be doctors and lawyers. Why is that education money being sent out of state and giving it to other ones when even their program and academic is not even up to par?
Thank you, sir.
My name is Ashley Chavez. I have 7 children, which 3 have disability. And I'm standing here today for the children who cannot stand here for themselves, the children who need more, the children who learn differently, the children with IEPs and 504s and BIPs in the ALE who are depending on you to protect them. Right now, the decision feels like you are forgetting them, because I have listened carefully and I still have not heard a clear, detailed plan for how these children will be supported. And that is not a small oversight. That is everything. These are children who need structure, who need consistency, who need teachers that understand them, who build trust with them, who know how to calm them when they're overwhelmed and lift them when they're struggling. You're asking them to start over, new teachers, new systems, more testing, stricter rules. Do you understand what that does to a child with special needs? It creates fear, it creates anxiety, it creates failure before they are even given a fair chance to succeed. And when you add rules like no more than 9 absences, no suspensions, and limited discipline referrals, you are not supporting these children. You are setting them up, because these children with special needs have challenges. They have hard days. They need grace, not punishment. They need support, not limits that push them out. And what happens when they can't meet those expectations? Where do they go? Who catches them? Because right now it feels like no one is answering that question. You are also taking away the people who know them best, the teachers, the aides, the staff who built relationships over years, the ones who understand their triggers, their routines, their progress. You are replacing stability with uncertainty. And for special needs child, stability is not optional. It is essential.
then there are the children who walk to school. It's their safe place, their routine, their community. If they cannot get there, they cannot learn. Their safety is a priority. It is that simple. And what about joy? Sports, music, art, movement, expression, these are not extras for our children. They are how many of them connect to the world and how they build confidence, how they feel successful. Without those goals, because they place a pressure instead of possibility. You say this is about improvement, but improvement should never come at the cost of leaving our most vulnerable children behind. So I'm asking you, please slow down, please listen, think about the children who will struggle the most under this change. Because they're not numbers, they are children who deserve to be seen, supported, and protected. And right now, they need you to choose them. If this plan cannot fully protect our most vulnerable children, then it's not a plan worth moving forward. Don't let our children be the price of a decision you fully didn't think through. Thank you.
Savannah Longoria is next, and then we have Crystal Villarreal.
Good afternoon. I'm standing here today not just as a parent, but as someone who once walked these halls as a child. Hirsch is not just a school to me. It's my childhood. It's where I learned, where I grew, where I became who I am. So I need you to understand what this feels like for us. Why Hirsch? Why was our school chosen? For years, this school has needed help. Our teachers have been showing up every single day, doing everything they can with limited resources, still pouring love and effort into our children. And during all that time, where was the urgency? Where was the support when it was most needed? But now suddenly there's a plan, a big decision, and the people who should have been at the center of it, the parents, the teachers, the community, we were left out. No real input, no real voice, no real partnership. That doesn't feel like help. That feels like being pushed aside. So I did what I should have done from the beginning. I went into the community, I knocked on doors, I spoke to family face to face, I listened, and what I heard was consistent and clear. This community is not for this. These are the people who trust you with their children every single day, and right now, they feel unheard. So I have to ask you, not as a speaker, but as a parent, if this vote is already final, how can we trust SAISD with our kids? This trust isn't automatic. It's built by listening, it's built by including the people you serve, and right now, that trust is being broken. We are not against change, we are not against improvement. We have been asking for help, but there are ways to help Hirsch that don't take the voice away from very people who make it what it is. We have a community that cares. We have teachers who are committed. We have families who are willing to stand up and fight for this school. All we're asking is to be part of the solution, because Hirsch is not just a name on the building. It's memories, it's families, it's generations. And when you make decisions without us, you're not just changing the school. You're breaking the trust of an entire community. You're breaking our familia apart. And so please do not make this decision. Do not make this a legacy of the decision, because the community doesn't want this, and the community has spoken.
Hello, my name is Savannah, and I'm a proud parent of 2 children at Hirsch Elementary. On Monday, March 16, I stood in front of this board and gave everything I had. I spoke from my heart, not just for my children, but for the principal, the staff, the teachers, and Hirsch, who pour their hearts into these kids every single day. I stood there carrying not just my story, but the stories of so many families who love this school. And when I left, I truly believe we were heard. But to come back and to see that this plan is still moving forward, I still felt a punch in my heart. I felt like our voices didn't matter, like our stories didn't matter, like our children's didn't matter. Because when you sit there and listen to parents and open up about their children, about their struggles, their growth, their fears and their victories, and decisions doesn't change, it makes us question what the purpose of speaking even was. I shared how this school stood by my son during one of the most vulnerable times of his life. I shared how the teachers didn't just teach him, they saw him. They supported him. They made sure he felt included. I shared how my daughter found comfort, happiness, and confidence again because someone in the leadership cared enough to listen and act. Those aren't just nice stories. These are real life being shaped inside that school every single day. And the people making that happen, they're not replaceable. Hirsch isn't just a functioning, it's nurturing, it's supporting, it's changing lives in ways that you can't measure up on. on paper. So to move forward with this plan, after hearing all that, it doesn't feel like a progress. It feels like being dismissed. We're not just parents showing up complaining. We're parents fighting for something that is already working in ways that matter most. We're asking you to see what we see, to feel what we feel, to understand that this school is more than a decision on the agenda. It is people, it is trust, it is love. And right now, that trust is being broken. All we are asking is that you truly listen to us, just hear us out, because when parents stand up shaking with emotions and still find strength to speak, it should mean something. Because this isn't just about playing plan anymore. It's about whether our voices ever matter to you.
Hi guys, so my name is Crystal Villarreal. I am a parent from Rhodes Middle School. So my question is, I thought SAISD was family. I thought we were familia. So how are you gonna give our familia away to another company that's not even from Texas? It's heartbreaking to our kids. Sport is what's keeping our kids out of these streets. Imagine y'all take sports out. How many gun violence, how many kids are gonna turn to the streets? And it's sad. Like, we need more communication from the district, not just posting on social media. Some of these parents don't have social media. We need flyers. We need people walking the street, letting these parents know what's going on. We need transportation. That's one main thing in this community. Parents don't have transportation. Me and myself, I'm struggling with transportation. But if we could carpool as a community and come together, we're gonna do this and stand up for our kids. We are our kids' voices, and we need to be heard. It's sad that this is not the first time that we've been through this. We were a family at Rodriguez Elementary. That got shut down. My kids attend Carvajal Elementary. That school is getting shut down at the end of the school year. So now Rhodes is an option. And then for our kids to get sent to Tafoya Middle School as it is, they're struggling to have teachers in the classes. Have one teacher for 40 students right now. That's not even valid. It shouldn't even happen. It should be 20 students per teacher at least, the most, 25. But 40, and then you're gonna wanna send 300 and something kids to Tafoya on top of that. I thought Tafoya just had a grand opening on their brand new gym. All that money y'all spend on the gym, for what? So it could turn into a third future school and sports are gonna be taken out? It's money that we could have been using for this community. We need it. Can us parents take over the community, the schools? We want that. If I'm here willing to do it, then we all should come together as a community. Thank you guys.
Macy Villarreal.
Simon doesn't want to go.
Okay. Macy, is that right? I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll fix the mic first.
You got this, Macy.
You got this, baby girl. You got it. Let them hear your voice. You got to say something. Say hello. Hello. Okay.
You got this.
You got this, baby.
Breathe, love. Talk to me.
Come on, baby. You got this. You got this. You got this. Let them know how you feel. Let them.
You can do this.
Cry, yes, you did it. Let them tell them
They're
how you
taking away sports. The kids have it. That's
It's okay. Breathe. Just let it out. I know. It's just hurting. They can't even speak. It's emotional. That's my child. To be hearing this from her, she can't even speak. It's heartbreaking. And I would expect y'all as parents that this is hurting y'all. Y'all have kids in sports. Y'all have kids in sports. Imagine if it was y'all's kids going through this. Would y'all be standing behind them too? This is like us community. We're a community. Like you said, we're family. But right now, we're not feeling like family. Family, like if we're just getting adopted, thrown to an orphan or anything. That's how we're feeling right now, the community. Tell them, baby, don't be shy. No? Done? Okay.
As her teacher, she never stops talking. So this is hard.
Yes.
It is.
We have, next, I can't read the slides. It's Father Mike. Father Mike, come on, Father Mike.
Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Aquino. I'm with COPS Metro, and we'll have 4 speakers. So to save time, they will come right after me. Again, I am Father Mike DiGirolami, a leader of COPS Metro and a former pastor of St. Timothy's Church, which serves the neighborhood of Carvajal Elementary and Rhodes Middle Schools. I've been there many times. I come before you because I have lived and served on the West Side for over 15 of my over 50 years as a pastor. I know children, parents, and staff of Carvajal and Rhodes schools. The West Side and the East Side deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And board members, you have a moral question before you. In some of the poorest areas of San Antonio, nobody is talking to the parents. They get a letter or an email from one day to the next saying, their school is closing. What's wrong with that? A lot. We're also here because we're connecting the dots about what's really happening. It's clear this pressure to close roads and work with third future schools is coming from outside San Antonio and from TEA. No one wants to say what this is, but we will. The state is bullying San Antonio to accept a TEA-connected charter that has a questionable track record and make it seem like we want this. Let me be clear. We've been given no option. Either we do this or the state takes over our schools. We don't want that to happen either. Let's be clear. Who is this charter school? Third Future is a Colorado-based charter school founded by Mike Miles, who was appointed the superintendent of Houston ISD by TEA. What a coincidence. He starts this charter school, becomes superintendent, and then he resigns. What is Third Future School's connection to TEA? That's the question we have for Commissioner Mike Morath. We in COPS Metro say again to TEA, we will hold you accountable for this reprehensible takeover of our schools.
Good evening, board, and to all of the families represented here today. I'm Dr. Ricky Georgetown. I'm the pastor of St. Paul United Methodist Church, the oldest African American church in all of San Antonio. I'm originally from Louisiana, and let me tell you, this is very interesting to me because the same thing happened in Louisiana. And so the question I have tonight is, why is this the only charter school approved by the state to work with turnaround schools? And and do they really have a track record of turning around schools? It is a reprehensible act coming from TEA. And they are preying on the poorest schools in the city. It is interesting, very interesting to me, that they're going into poor neighborhoods and using poor kids as an excuse to get into SAISD and take us over. Both of the schools there have been listed and are in the poor zip codes. And Hirsch Elementary, which is in my area on the east side, which we know isn't that better off. So why don't they just come out and say it directly to us that this is their way of taking over our school district? This is Commissioner Marat's way of bullying the school district. You tell us that this is a nonprofit and I'll be good and it'll be good for our kids, but the question is, where is the evidence? Is this evidence-based or is this greed-based? TEA is getting you all, the school board, to endorse it, and we hear them loud and clear saying, either you endorse this plan or we take over the district. Board members, I just came tonight just simply to ask you to think about this. To think about this. Think about if this were your children. Would you want this kind of situation to happen to your children? School's not perfect, but with the proper resources, we, the community, can help turn these schools around.
My name is Melody Herrera, caregiver to a Carvajal student and a leader with COPS Metro. It's clear to us that given no other option, this contract is likely to be approved tonight. Therefore, we want to assert our safeguards in the contract. First, a parent advisory committee must be established to ensure families have a real voice in decisions impacting our children. Second, existing social supports must be preserved. Partners like Good Samaritan, Community in Schools, Boys and Girls Club, and the YWCA must remain as partners. Third, strict compliance with all federal and state special education laws must be guaranteed. Our students with disabilities deserve nothing less than full access to services and protections they are entitled to. Lastly, the culture and historic identity of these schools must be preserved. These campuses represent generations of community pride and legacy. Let me be clear, we are not naive. We understand the pressures coming from TEA to accept this partnership. We will be watching closely. We expect full transparency, accountability, and ongoing communication with all stakeholders. Our students, families, and communities deserve nothing less.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly McClure. And following Ms. McClure, we have Matthew Cerno.
Thank you. Yes, Beverly McClure from St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church on the northwest side of town. Our COPS Metro organization here is all institutions, member institutions from all over this city. So we stand with the families here. So, given there were no alternatives considered, it is obvious that there was no competitive bidding process in the selection of Third Future Schools. If there were, I'm assuming that you would have seen very low ratings from parents. How about 2.4 out of 5? And that doesn't reflect well on our school district, certainly as seen externally for families, businesses coming to San Antonio. You would have also seen the investigative reporting done by Spectrum News, which has been mentioned earlier. And by the way, we have sent that to all of you, questioning the financial health of Third Future Schools and asserting that Texas taxpayer dollars from schools under TFS were siphoned off to subsidize Third Future Schools and schools under their control in Colorado to meet their budget deficit. And then given this lack of due process, lack of due diligence, we are asking for 3 things. Number 1, a 1-year contract, not a multi-year contract. This would give you the opportunity to evaluate it under all of these aspects before entering, if you even do, into a multi-year contract. Also, secondly, safeguards to ensure that our Texas taxpayer dollars stay with our schools and do not go out of the state. And then finally, that we have a transparent, competitive governance process to be put in place to hold Third Future Schools accountable, yes, to the contract, but to our children, and that means all our children. Thank you.
Following Mr. Cerno, we have Carlos Maestas.
Before I start, shouts out to them. That was a fantastic speech from all of them. Shouts out to them, first of all. Can y'all hear me? Does this feel better?
Yes.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So my name is Matthew Cerna. I am a educator at Rose Middle School. I've been in special education for the past 4 years. When we first were made news of Third Future being taken over in school, we were informed of everything. And one thing that I can appreciate about Third Future is they were very black and white about everything that they were bringing in, everything that they planned to do. However, we didn't get that same respect from the board. For the past 4 years, I have been part of this school. I have started as an instructional assistant. I moved on up to become a teacher because I found a good rapport, I found a good community, I found a good culture within this school. It was a shocker to hear that this is what we're going into, and it made me open my eyes, because when you look at schools today, we see failing campuses and think, wow, I'm gonna pull my kid, or time to close this campus. But as a teacher, one of the first things that they teach you is that when a majority of students are struggling, you kind of ask yourself as a teacher, what am I doing wrong? But instead over here, it seems as if we are not asking ourselves, what do we do to create these conditions that our schools are currently in? You can't defund a school or a system and call it broken like it happened in a vacuum. Because there are so many students of different cultures and different backgrounds at Rhodes Middle School, and all these students deserve an education, whether that's academic, physical, music, art, special education, and so on. And when I got to talk to communities and schools, and I asked for data multiple times, I asked the same question multiple times for communities and schools. Both times I was met with, we don't have that. Bless you. Both times I was met with, we don't have that. And other teachers had same data questions that they were also not answered, but the only data that I did get was that the reviews were good. I mean, reviews always sound good, right? So, Third Future is an organization with no data for public schools, no data for special education, so I don't know how the 30% of our population is going to be supported. There's no need for the community outreach, apparently. Just a pen to paper that allows them to apply for a temporary Band-Aid with no data for the overturn when schools are returned to the district. So to be paid for with funds that can repair the school rather than close it down. So we as a community cannot fail these kids. Us closing roads seems like another step in doing so. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Aquino. My name is Carlos Maestas, and I serve as board chair of the San Antonio ISD Foundation. I'm also a proud parent of a current SAISD student and 2 alumni. For the past 9 years, I've had the privilege to serve on the foundation board and experience the different ways that the foundation has supported the district through transitions that have really mattered. From providing one-to-one devices, raising $1 million to support technology, hotspots, and one-to-one devices during the early stages of the pandemic, and to more recently through supporting teaching artists and teaching artists for ballet folklorico and mariachi programs. I've seen firsthand how the foundation has responded during these times, and I'm here to communicate to our community, to our trustees, on behalf of our board of directors and our executive director, that we're committed to showing up for you no matter what decisions you decide to make today. I know many of you, I know that you labor over these decisions and that you do truly care about what happens in our communities and for our students. These are not paid positions. We want to be here to support you through this transition. I also understand that for our families, these schools have been a part of their stories for generations. So I understand the emotion that comes with any discussion over a school closure, and especially to our committed teachers. I'm a son of 2 educators, and I married an educator, so I understand how hard our educators work for our students. So the foundation is ready to support SAISD as a thought partner and as someone that can come up with, convene stakeholders to plan for whatever may come next, not just for Rhodes or any other school that may be closed, but it needs to happen with the voices of the community as a part of these discussions, not dictating what's going to happen, but including them in the conversation. I'm a parent and I care deeply about what happens in SAISD, and the foundation remains committed to this work.
Thank you, Carlos. We have Anna Cardenas, Patricia Carvajal, and then Omar Shavara.
evening, trustee, superintendent. My name is Ana Cardenas and I'm the data impact manager for the SAISD Foundation. I also have the privilege of overseeing our post-secondary programs. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. During this meeting, you're about to hear a report about post-secondary enrollment and attainment, and it provides critical insight into how our students persist and succeed after graduation. The data is essential because it reflects not just where our students start, but where they finish. At the same time, our internal tracking shows a more up-to-date picture of post-secondary enrollment for the class of 2025. At the SAISD Foundation, we measure 60% of college enrollment in the first year after high school graduation. This includes students attending universities that do not report to NSC, such as Notre Dame, where students choose to attend every year, as well as those enrolling in institutions abroad, like Spain and Mexico, and those pursuing pathways through technical colleges. At the SAISD Foundation, our work is focused on ensuring more of our graduates successfully transition to and complete secondary education. One of our key initiatives is Beat the Heat, our summer melt prevention program, with 268 students being registered this past summer and accounting for 16% of our overall fall enrollment. Through proactive outreach, advising, and support during the critical months after graduation, we help students overcome barriers that often derail their college plans. This work has received statewide recognition, and we've had the honor of presenting at both the Texas Education Foundation Network Conference last year and the Texas Association for College Admission Counseling Conference in 3 weeks. Beyond the summer, our post-secondary navigators continue to support students well after high school graduation. As a result, we are seeing something very encouraging: increased enrollment not only immediately after graduation, but also through their second year. Class of 2023 increased enrollment from 55 in the first fall after high school graduation to 60% within 2 years. This reflects students reconnecting with their goals and accessing the support they need. You will hear from one of our post-secondary navigators today as well. We're also seeing gains in college completion. From class of 2018 students who attempted college, 35% graduated with their 2-year or 4-year degree, up from 32.6% for class of 2017. This is a lagging indicator, and we're certain that this number continues to grow. To strengthen this work, we have invested in a transfer and completion navigator who will speak to you today about his work as well. And this work matters, not just for individual students, but for our entire community. A recent social ROI study conducted by Dr. Steve Niven at St. Mary's University highlights the economic impact of college enrollment and completion in San Antonio ISD. The findings are clear. SAISD graduates from 2017 to 2022 will have impacted San Antonio with $3.7 billion into this city's economy throughout their careers. Meaning when our students graduate from college, the benefits ripple across our city through increased earnings, workforce strength, and long-term economic growth. We are proud to partner with SAISD to ensure that more students succeed in college. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Patricia Carvajal, Omar Shabara, then Richard Aguilar. So just as an update, guys, we still have 40 additional speakers signed up to speak, so out of respect for time, please be cognizant to keep your remarks under 2 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Patricia Carvajal. I'm a retired associate principal at Burbank High School. I'm currently one of 6 post-secondary navigators employed by the SAISD Foundation, whose job is to work with our graduates to help get them to and through college. Usually, the best way to release, give out information is through a story. So today, my story is about one of my students who graduated from Phoenix Middle College in SAISD. He's 20 years old. His name is Sabas. He's a single parent in a sole custody of his 2 young children, and he's going to college at St. Philip's to pursue his associates in applied science in electrical trades. Sorry about that. He currently has a 3.5 GPA and has been working very, very hard and is set to begin his internship in 2027. The way I met Sabas was he called me one day out of the blue because he was in a panic. His tools were stolen out of the back of his truck. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know who to turn to. He thought maybe I could help him with his financial aid to get a loan so that he could purchase them. At that point, I then redirected him and said, hey, are you aware of what the SAISD Foundation can do for you in this situation? And so we talked about it, and we agreed to go forward and apply for an emergency grant. Within a week, Sabas had his tools in place. The SAISD Foundation came through like they always do, and we made sure he was ready to go to further his career so he could be not a statistic, but a very member of the workforce and provide for his family. Now, even though we took care of that, we're still in each other's lives. He calls me when he has a question about financial aid. He doesn't understand something he's received from the college. And just like before, he didn't know what I could do for him, but he knew I would be there, and I'm there for him to and through college. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Omar Tavara, Richard Aguilar will be next, and then we have Adrian Reyna.
All right. Good afternoon, SAISD board members. My name is Omar Chavira. I am the Transfer and Completion Navigator for the SAISD Foundation. I wanted to share one of our stories, our impactful, inspiring stories that we work with the foundation. We do work with all our SAISD alumni, so our plan, I know my goal is to have a plan of action for our students, so either, enrolling in college, returning to college, entering the workforce, enlisting in the military, or enlisting in a military college program. So let me share one of my stories. Sorry. So I am currently working with the student Randall from Thomas Jefferson High School. He's about to graduate with his associate's degree in engineering at SAC. Kudos to him, shout out to him. He's graduating this spring. He's walking the stage with the support from the foundation. We were able to do his graduation application, request his transcripts. We completed his transfer application to UTSA for the electrical engineering program. One of the barriers that he did face is paying for a transfer application, but with the support from the SAISD Foundation, we were able to pay for the transfer application, requesting all the transcripts. Because again, transcripts application, they cost, but again, with the support from the foundation, we were able to go over those barriers and have Randall complete all the processes. So again, with the support from the foundation and our roles, we were able to do his transfer application, request transcripts, complete his financial aid, complete all the transfer scholarship applications as well. I also provide support and homework to our students, and I know Randall, he's never been to UTSA, so we actually invited him to UTSA Day. I made Randall, meet with the College of Engineering, meet with his future instructors, future students as well. But I just wanted to promote the story and the impact that the foundation does provide to our students with the post-secondary navigator role, the transfer and completion role. We have our students complete their degrees. We have the students. We're the support. We're the promoters. Yes, we do provide a lot of hand-holding, but it's the hand-holding that is needed because a lot of these students have not experienced this, and they're so grateful. These students are like, sir, thank you so much for the assistance. Thank you so much for paying for this application, because I have to work at Whataburger, and I have to provide and support for my family. So the foundation does provide that support. But again, the foundation is a wonderful partner, and they're a wonderful organization that does provide the support to our future current students, our current alumni, and our future leaders. So I just want to share that story. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all you do in support of our students. Thank you to the foundation. Next, we have Richard Aguilar. Then we have Adrian Reyna. Following Mr. Reyna, we have Joel Sanchez.
Good evening. My name is Richard Aguilar, and I'm a retired priest and representing Esperanza Peace and Justice Center. It's one of the organizations in the west side. The Rinconcito de Esperanza is just a few feet away from J.T. Brackenridge, Tafoya, and Lanier High School. And I'm here in solidarity with the unanimous group here, concerned about the proposed closure of Rhodes Middle School and this association with Third Future Schools. And it seems like both of those are related. Again, I couldn't agree more with what everyone says. I'm from the west side. My family lived in 78207 for the first 20 years of my life. And then the first 30 years, my address was always in San Antonio School District until I moved on to my ministry. So I'm from San Antonio. And it dismays me what has happened with public education. I received an excellent public education in the 1960s and 70s. And I know that you're in a difficult situation. I've been in leadership positions like you where you have some challenging decisions to make. Yet I implore you to listen to the people. Listen to the children that you're here to serve. I did a little research on Third Future Schools, and I will tell you, I found all this online through AI, and if Third Schools were to call my church, or now that I'm with Esperanza and want to associate with us, I would say, no thank you, and hang up. Everything that has been said, it greatly concerns me. You know, it seems like a for-profit, non-profit organization. And I know we live in times of oxymorons, but that's what it is. I ask you to please supervise and maybe even deny the contract with this organization. Thank you.
Good evening, President Sebastian, Superintendent Aquino, and trustees. My name is Adrian Reyna. I'm a third-generation SAISD teacher in my 15th year and serve as the Executive Vice President for the San Antonio Alliance. I had planned to use my time to share my own thoughts, but due to the limited community engagement and opportunity to share our thoughts, I'm reading a statement from my fiance, who is recovering from emergency surgery and cannot be here this evening. Tonight, you vote to close and/or give away our 2 remaining Westside neighborhood middle schools. Not because our kids lost their potential, not because our teachers stopped showing up or caring, not because our community lost its strength, but because someone somewhere far from here decided that standardized tests and numbers on a page mattered more than the lives those numbers represent. My name is Brittany Reyes. I am a school social worker, SAISD alumna, mother, and I come from this neighborhood. We know its challenges and the struggles families like mine carry quietly, but we also know its soul. We know the music that spills out of open windows, the murals painted by hand, the abuelas who sit on porches and make sure every child walking by gets home safely. This place is more than what some people see. It's not simply underperforming or at risk. It is alive, it is proud, and it is ours. At its heart are Tafoya, where I attended, and Rhodes, schools where young people begin to find their voice. As a middle school social worker, I see students discover who they are, be noticed when something is wrong, and get support before it's too late. Close these schools and you close a lifeline. Studies have shown that the trauma that school closures can inflict. Students will be forced to travel farther, forcing parents to figure out transportation that may disrupt family routines and systems. Research shows students may experience an increased sense of anxiety and depression. On top of closures, some of our schools will be handed over to a strict charter, something that sounds good on paper, but in reality means rigid expectations and fewer supports for students who don't fit a narrow mold. Our public school will be closed in the name of efficiency and to avoid a takeover. If you vote to approve this partnership tonight, I think this neighborhood behind me would argue that the takeover has already begun. The answer for academically struggling schools is not abandonment or selling them off, it's investment. Appropriate and culturally sustaining classes and class sizes, more wraparound services, after-school programs, resources that match the challenges and the opportunities our kids face every day. You don't fix a community by pulling out its foundation, you strengthen it. So who decides which communities are worth saving? Who decides which children deserve stability? Your vote tonight will answer that. We are not asking for special treatment, just fairness, dignity, and the chance for our children to learn close to home, to be supported, and to be seen. Do not close or give away these schools. Do not turn your back on this community. Invest in us, stand with us, and believe in us, because everybody here believes in our children, and we're not going anywhere.
And then I think it says Lanier High School Choir.
Good evening, everybody. I am a product of the district. I attended Carvajal Elementary, Tafoya Middle School. My brothers graduated from Brackenridge High School, and my parents are Lanier graduates. My son is different relationship. He's gonna graduate from Lanier this year. I'm a product of this district. And one of the best things, one of the best experiences of my life was being able to have my welcome back Cotter moment and go back to Tafoya and teach there for 3 years. I started in the district at Page Middle School. So I might have been your teacher. I don't know. So I started in Page Middle School in 2017 when it was in IR status. We were being heavily monitored by the state, and in 1 year we took that school from an F to a C. And the next year we took it from a C to a B, right before the board decided to close it to give it to YWLA. But we did that. Through really hard work, through a lot of collaboration, we did that. It is possible. But when you neuter the programs, when you take away the resources, at the same time that we were doing this at Page Middle School, Tafoya was also trying to climb back from IR status, and they were close to it. And then 2020 hit, COVID hit, and everything went under because this is a community that unfortunately is more disproportionately affected by issues like this, by situations like this. It hurt the community. That's when I came back and we tried. We were trying, we were making efforts, but at that time, we also had a principal that left, and when that principal left, we had the horrendous year of 15 administrators in some way, shape, or form that walked through our doors and we were accountable to. 15 administrators, at least 3 principals, a whole bunch of rotating people coming through. That is not consistency. That is not something that is going to help this community. You invest in it. You guys talk a lot about familia. I have lived it, and you all need to do it. So please, I'm asking you, do not destroy my community right before you retire, and don't let him.
And then we have Yana Perez. Ms. Cabara, is she coming? Okay. Yes.
I'm going to start as they are getting situated. Good evening, and thank you for your time. My name is Catarina Cabrera, and I'm the Lanier High School Choir Director. Before these students sing, I want to ask you to do something simple. Just listen, not as board members, but as people. Every day these students walk into my classroom carrying things you may never see. Stress, pressure, uncertainty, and sometimes the feeling that they've lost their way. And yet they show up, they find their voices, they find each other. Middle school choir, band, mariachi, art, athletics is often the first place they feel seen, heard, and valued. When you remove middle school programs, you're not only cutting a class, you're cutting off the beginning of a pathway that leads to not only high school excellence, but to confidence, belonging, and purpose. I know this because I've seen it firsthand. I served at Rhodes Middle School for 10 years before transitioning to Lanier High School, where I'm now in my 3rd year. I have served the 78207 community for 13 years and counting. I have watched students begin in middle school unsure of themselves and grow into confident leaders by the time they reach high school. That growth doesn't happen by accident. It starts early, it starts here. The song they're about to sing says, "When you're tired and troubled and you have lost your way, don't let hard times lead you astray." That message isn't just for them, it's for all of us. Because decisions like this matter. They shape whether students have a place to turn when life is hard, whether they have something that lifts them up, or one less reason to stay connected. Move forward, look upward, leave all cares behind. That's what choir gives them, a reason to move forward, a reason to look up. Tonight I ask you to consider not just budgets or numbers, because what starts in middle school is what makes everything possible. These students are not just a part of a program. They're the reason it matters. Thank you.
My name is Gianna Bettis, and I'm a 10th grade student at Lanier High School. Before I came to Lanier High School, I attended a charter school that only offered core classes like math, science, and history and English. While I was there, my life felt dull. I had no passion, no hobbies, and nothing that made me feel special. I didn't have dreams for my future. I was just living day by day. When I entered high school, everything changed. There were so many activities and opportunities to try. It felt like I was reborn into a new life full of adventure and possibility. I found new friends, new passions, and a new sense of who I am. Now I know myself. I love talking, I love singing, I love wrestling and playing volleyball. I love working out. Most importantly, I love being me. I wish I had known what was out there for me when I was in middle school. I wish I had been given the chance to discover myself sooner. Programs like choir and sports didn't just give me something to do, they helped shape who I am today. Not every student gets that opportunity, and that's not fair. Every child deserves the chance to find their passion and their purpose. Please don't take that away from middle school students. Be different. Be the change in a young person's life. Keep extracurricular activities. Keep Rhodes Middle School, keep Tafoya Middle School. Let students discover who they are and build a future they're excited about. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sandy Ibada, linear student, 10th grade. I'm reading on behalf of Jenny Vasquez. It really hurts to hear that Rhodes Middle School is closing, and with it, the places where kids find themselves and the rooms that give them joy, and the classes that make their hearts beat faster. These extracurricular classes just want extra. They are where we learn who we are. They are the rooms where we discover things about ourselves we didn't know we had in us, where we can meet people who see and understand us, and where we can make memories that will stick with us for a lifetime. Middle school is hard. It's awkward and messy, and some days it feels like the world is too big and confusing and you don't belong anywhere. But those classes, those sacred places, the best way I can put it is to me like they are islands of light in the chaos. In choir, band, and mariachi, I have found my voice, not just in singing, but in saying, I'm here and I matter. I made 2 best friends in choir, and these friends I know I will carry with me forever. In band, I learned that something beautiful can be created with people who work together, and that is music of many people who have said this before, can connect to souls in a way words can never reach. Without those rooms, those people, those experiences, I definitely would have walked through middle school feeling smaller, quieter, and more invisible each and every single day. And now to know kids like my little brother will never get to know that the doors are closing before they can even step through them, it feels cruel. He's only in 4th grade and he deserves to find out what he loves, to explore, to fail, to feel proud of something he created and what he created, all alongside the people who cheer for him. And instead they were just taken away from him and every other kid. The charter school, they're gonna tour the Tafoya into might give them one elective, maybe none. I imagine telling a child, you can have one glimpse of the world. You could have explored freely. How is that fair? How is that right? I wouldn't be here today writing this without those experiences. I wouldn't have the confidence I have in high school, the courage to try new things, the love of the music I carry with me. Closing these schools isn't just closing doors. It's closing hearts, dreams, possibilities. It's telling kids you may learn from books, but you may not discover yourself. That is something no child should ever have to hear. So no, it hurts. Yes, it hurts because I know what's being lost. It hurts because my little brother deserves what I have. Deserves to feel alive in a classroom where he can feel he belongs. And it hurts because we're losing more than just a building. We're losing the heartbeat and the love for these classes from children, the joy, middle life, the joy of discovery, and friendships that make everything worthwhile.
Next we have Robert Ramirez.
Hi, my name is Robert Ramirez. Before anything, I want to give all praise and glory to my Father God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Basically, I am here in support of the children, the parents of those children, the educators, the support staff, all those people who toil incessantly to help our children to learn and to grow as individuals and to be productive individuals when they become adults in this society of ours. Basically, I'm just here to ask the board more than anything else to consider taking a step back, consider what is being done here, what is being thought to be done here, because it affects the children, it affects the community at large. It really just affects everybody in a very adverse way, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, many lives will be thrown off balance. People will have to readjust their way of thinking, their way of doing things, and it's can potentially be a very damaging thing. So with that in mind, as I said, I would just ask the board to consider what they're doing, take a step back, maybe take a deep breath, as it were, and give it some time. Doesn't really matter how much time, but just give it some time so that a good, firm decision can be made with all the facts being clear and understood, so that everybody concerned, all parties concerned, can benefit from all this. And so that, I mean, just really basically for the children to be able to benefit from everything that is going to eventually be decided. I want to appreciate the time that I've been given. I'm thankful for that. I've been being allowed to exercise not only my God-given right, but my right granted under the Constitution, which is free speech, because it allows us to voice our concerns. I feel for the parents, because I'm just a grandparent, but I still come out of here out of concern for my grandchildren, because they all attend SAISD. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for their time. Thank you so much.
Next, forgive me, it's kind of scratched out. I think it says Michael, K-A-L-D-E-Z, with mind shift Ed, possibly?
No, I scratched off.
You scratched off? Okay, all right. Next we have Veronica Calaz, and then following we have Angel Moreno.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Tengo ya varios años trabajando con familias bilingües, especialmente con niños de necesidad especial.
I've been working already with bilingual families for many years, especially with children with special needs.
Hoy vengo a hablarles claro a esta junta directiva que están diciendo que las escuelas están fallando, cuando realmente los que están fallando son ustedes como directivos, especialmente el superintendente Aquino. Cuando llegó y lo conocí, vino con muchas propuestas.
And I'm here to speak to you clearly about what you're saying, that the schools are failing, and really what's failing is the leadership, all of you, especially Dr. Aquino, the superintendent. When you first came, we heard you coming with a lot of different proposals.
Él dijo que iba a hacer cambios, mas no que iba a cerrar nuestras escuelas. La pregunta es, ¿qué es lo que ha mejorado realmente después del último cierre de escuelas?
And he said he was going to make changes, but didn't say he was going to close schools. So now the question is, what's improved since we started closing schools?
¿Qué cambios pueden enseñar ustedes que están todos ahí reunidos, colaborando con él, y que a las familias no les avisan de los cierres?
So all of you who are there working in collaboration with him, and you're not telling families about what the plans are?
He ayudado a familias para que vean cuáles son los recursos que tienen y cuál es lo que ellos pueden fortalecer para sus hijos. Sin embargo, con estos cierres, ustedes lo único que están ocasionando es que las familias no tengan más recursos donde ir.
I've been working with families to let them know about the resources that they could use to build up their position, but they don't have resources with the changes that you are making.
Cerrar escuelas no es una solución, es una señal de que ustedes no están colaborando ni fortaleciendo las escuelas.
Closing schools is not a solution. It's rather a sign that you are collaborating, but closing schools.
Eso quiere decir que su liderazgo no sirve, que simplemente están viendo cómo tapar una cosa porque no pueden con las escuelas.
That's a sign that your leadership doesn't work. You're covering some things up with other things because it's not working.
Es mejor que renuncien en una forma de asumir su responsabilidad. Pues si deciden quedarse, entonces actúen, escuchen a las familias, trabajen con ellas en conjunto, no las dejen fuera.
So it'd be better if you were to just stop assuming the responsibility for what you're doing. But if you decide to stay and not quit, then act. listen to the families, and work with the communities so that we can find real solutions.
Cumplan con su compromiso que tienen. Trabajen con las familias uno a uno para que ustedes puedan ver por qué las escuelas están fallando. Que no son ellas, son ustedes como directivos. Muchas gracias.
So meet your commitments and work with the families, with each one of them, so you can work with them individually and find out what's really happening and what they need. Thank you. Gracias.
Angel Moreno. Following Mr. Moreno, we have Councilwoman Terry Castillo.
Members of the board, my name is Angel Moreno. I'm a father of 3 children currently attending 3 separate SAISD schools, elementary, middle, and high school. I am here regarding the closure of Rhodes Middle School and the implementation of the Third Future Schools program. I have stood before you once prior due to the threat of closing another school my children attended, Collins Garden Elementary. I stand here again for the same problem with another school. I will say now, as I said then, the biggest problem is that closing down this school will not only affect the students, it will affect the community around it. I believe that a community that has schools within their neighborhood is a safer community than one without. By removing a school from that community, I believe that you are allowing that community itself to fail. Furthermore, if what I read was true, or if what I even heard was true, the Third Future School program doesn't offer athletics, choir, band, or other electives. You may be thinking that there are alternatives, options outside of school, but it is because these electives are offered in school that most children attend. It has been proven that these electives are essential in growing a child's mind besides basic academics. I also see a problem in moving a whole school's worth of students to a school already full of students of their own. I feel that this was ill-planned and will interrupt the FOIA's attendance and curriculum. And what will happen to their teachers? I'm not too sure, but I ask that. Because all I've heard is what will happen with the students. Will the teachers be out of jobs because of your decision? I think that I speak for most everyone here when I say we don't appreciate being blindsided by your decision making behind our backs without our input, parents, students, and teachers alike. I also want to say that I speak as a person whose aunt was also a product of Rhodes Middle School, our Bexar County clerk, Lucy Adame Clark. And that is all.
Moreno. Next we have Councilwoman Terry Castillo. Following Ms. Castillo, we have Adrian Alejandra Lopez, then Jennifer Arley.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, and Trustees. Councilmember Terry Castillo, very proud to represent the residents of the West and Southwest Side. And in 2018-2019, I sat in the cafeteria of Rodriguez Elementary School with many of the families that are here today. And what was promised to community members and presented was robust bilingual curriculum, support personnel, and the staff to ensure that that Carvajal Elementary School would have all the resources necessary to thrive, as well as an administration that would be sustainable. And what we have here today is now a conversation about the closure of Rhodes Middle School, where many of the students have graduated, were displaced from Rodriguez to Carvajal, now to Rhodes. So this is a family and community that has experienced displacement in a number of ways. So I ask that while you make your decision today, that you consider a couple of things. Whatever decision is made, that the promises and commitments in terms of curriculum are followed through, because the West Side and San Antonio residents deserve the delivery of what's discussed. And I remember asking Superintendent Martinez, why must a school fail before it receives robust curriculum and intervention? Because Trustee Torres and I, we toured so many elementary schools, and there was so much opportunity that we know West Side and all schools and students deserve without a school having to fail first. In addition to that, as many of the as public commenters have already touched on, I ask that you consider the importance of athletics in our community. In a time where we're seeing an increase in youth violence, we know in over 38,000 disconnected youth in Bexar County, We know that extracurriculars, whether it's the arts, PE, and or sport, provides an outlet for our youth, whether it's strengthening social and emotional skills, but ultimately blowing off steam and finding something productive to do in a safe space rather than finding something to do out in the street and getting into some trouble. So I ask that you all please consider in this decision the impact and role and the importance of sports and extracurriculars. And I know that you all are in a tough position, right? You are playing chicken with the state, and you all are also facing many of the same challenges we face at council in terms of social and economic challenges coupled with state mandates. So I understand you are in a tough position, but I ask that you take those things into consideration that I've shared with you all today. I appreciate y'all's leadership, and District 5 residents, San Antonio residents, deserve to have the commitments made to them followed through. And we know that when our public schools are under attack, what do? Stand up and fight back. We will stand up and fight back. Thank y'all.
Next we have Alejandra Lopez and then Jennifer Arce. Following Jennifer, we have Noah Collins.
Good evening, President Sebastian, Superintendent Aquino, and members of the board. My name is Alejandra Lopez. I serve as the president of the San Antonio Alliance of Teachers and Support Personnel, the union that represents teachers and support personnel in the district, and I'm a resident of SAISD District 4. One of the defining moments of both my time as an SAISD teacher and Alliance union member is when the SAISD board voted to hand over the operation of P.F. Stewart Elementary to Democracy Prep, a charter school operator based out of New York City that did not operate and continues to not operate any other schools in Texas. That year, staff at Stewart had been working incredibly hard, just like the staff at these proposed schools are working. And we came out of IR that year. We actually got a B that year, and under the new Democracy Prep regime, that school went down to a D. The story of Stewart inspired our union to advocate and organize for greater worker, parent, student, and community involvement in district making. It united us under the call of nothing about us without us. And since then, there have been numerous examples of this coming to fruition, including Board Guardrail 4. That's why it's so discouraging, disheartening, and frustrating to see the board abandon this commitment, literally from 1 month to the next. What many in the room may not know is that on February 17th, this very board voted on a motion to allow Superintendent Aquino to enter into negotiations with Third Future Schools with a provision that stated TFS would engage at least 75% of parents at each of the school sites being considered for partnership. What happened to this commitment? You want to cut people off at 2 minutes when you have given them no other choice to make their voice heard. Moreover, all this discussion about their future has been held by y'all behind closed doors, offering no opportunity for directly impacted community members, students, or school workers to hear about the potentially life-changing transformation about to be imposed upon them. This process has not been transparent, and these actions are indicative more of a board ashamed of the unpopular decision it seeks to impose on a historically underserved and marginalized community than proud of its purported commitment to service, community engagement, and collective decision-making. Everything we know about Third Future Schools is incongruous with the student-centered, culturally responsive approach to SAISD that y'all have been championing over these years. Quizzing students on math facts in the lunch line and then sending them to the back of the line if they get the answer wrong makes my stomach turn as an educator, and it makes others as well. However you choose to define thriving students, school communities, and families, Third Future ain't it. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Aquino and Board of Trustees. My name is Jennifer Arce, and I am one of the visual arts teachers at Linear High School. I should be prepping and finishing our district cluster art showcase that's happening this Thursday that includes Rhodes and Tafoya, and I wanted to come and speak to you today on this life-changing decision you are about to make for the west side of San Antonio. If this charter school deal goes through, the future of our fine arts and athletic programs will slowly die after today. This community, our west side, is the heart and started, the west side is the heart, and it started our culture here in San Antonio. It comes from the west side. The murals that you see around that area, those students went to Edgewood or to SAISD in those middle schools and high schools. They were taught by people at Linear, Tafoya, Rhodes, and Irving, when Irving was a regular middle school. The murals, Dr. Cruz and Miss Martinez did not get a fighting chance to turn those schools around. Dr. Cruz had a perfect attendance. She was about to get another rating, and so was Miss Martinez, and y'all gave them not a chance to do that. But now, here we are. You guys are about to sacrifice the FOIA to appease the TEA with this strong arm deal. And I know you guys your hands are tied, but y'all didn't even offer it to charter, like to our Cass Tech schools. They didn't even get considered, which is terrible because they're already in our schools. These schools, this charter school, it sounds almost like an alternative school from 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. They only get 1 hour of elective time after school. They have 90-minute blocks. Every high school is slowly turning to 45 minutes because they cannot handle 90-minute blocks. And you think that these middle school kids, that 30% of them that have SPED, 504s, they do not have the attention span for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Those kids come looking to their elective teachers. Music, mariachi was started at Lanier High School, and it is all over this district, all over. The music building is named after Bella Ortiz, and you are about to kill that program. Mariachi is the heart of the West Side as well, okay? This charter school will have no elective board members. You guys will not have a decision in there what they do in there. And I think that is not a good decision, guys. Mr. Valdez, your son, I teach him at my school. He is a master of what he does, and he went to this district. And I tell my kids about him. They could be like him, but now it is getting harder and harder for this side of town. So I'm stuck there.
Samantha Bagel, and then Miranda Aquari.
Hello, my name is Noah Collins. I'm a former alumni of SAISD schools. And I first off want to say thank you to all the teachers and students who have come out and are standing up for the schools that are getting closed, shut down, and I mean, frankly, also like militarized, which is another thing, but especially with these charter schools. And I think when I walked in, it was strange to see a sign that says kindness matters. I think it's a little on the nose, like kindness for who? For the teachers who are gonna lose their jobs and who are overworked and who, you know, are saving kids' lives, but what, you're gonna make them reapply at this new charter school where they might not even get hired. In this economy, like that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. Kindness matters for all of the workers who are in the custodial part. Where are they gonna go? You know, it doesn't make any sense to close these schools where there's workers, and that's just the workers. Then you have all the kids who SAISD proclaims to care about their families. But apparently, from what a lot of our community members have been saying, they haven't even been talked to about this. So I don't understand how kindness can matter for who? For the company that's going to get money from this, that isn't going to get siphoned off to Colorado? That doesn't make any sense. Why are we letting money leave our city, our state, and go to Colorado? That doesn't make any sense. Also, this company doesn't seem to be doing that good at a job because they're in a deficit in every school that they've taken over here in Texas. So I don't understand how kindness can matter, because there's no kindness for the students, there's no kindness for the workers, and there's no kindness for anybody in this community, especially if you close our schools. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Samantha Vogel. I am proud to choose to be an SAISD parent and a longtime SAISD employee. Next year is my 10th year. I began my teaching in SAISD and I've never left. I choose to be here because it's the right place to be, and it has been. I spent 6 incredible years at Tafoya that, bar none, are some of the happiest years of my life and some of the most challenging. It's no lie that it is hard to do this work, and it's harder when we are under-resourced and underfunded. We feel it. You made a promise to engage 75% of affected parents, and yet Our communities are still in the dark about circumstances affecting the schools and the entire linear feeder pattern. You have managed to begin a decision that will gut the center of a feeder pattern. Students and families have a right to choose their educational setting, which is proven by many of your past decisions and by the way that we provide a robust and diverse set of options available to SAISD. And yet you are forcing this decision upon the West Side and on Hirsch because the decision is being considered after choice school applications have come and gone. If this was a positive experience for students, if this was the best type of school to have, why wasn't it a choice school, and why weren't those families informed when they had the opportunity to make those choices themselves? Rather, you have made a unilateral decision, which I implore you to at least delay until you can guarantee that every affected employee is given priority in this transfer process, which has been done when previous schools have been closed and consolidated. I beg you to at least slow down until families and students understand what is at stake, because I have a terrifying suspicion that whenever they realize that the Tafoya they're going to next year is not the Tafoya they are expecting, they will no longer be toros on the field, on the court, in the auditorium, on the stage, but only in the classroom and only in name. You are underestimating the value of this community. You are not seeing their assets, but we in the community know what they are. I can only begin to imagine what happens to district-wide enrollment when they walk into the doors of Tafoya and realize that it is not the place it has been for over 50 years. And the promises that our staff and our teachers at schools like Rhodes and Tafoya have made good on. We teach entire families, we teach generations, and we stick around because all our kids are all our kids, and they deserve better. Until you can make good on these promises that you owe to your constituents who voted you onto this board, to your employees and workers across the city, and until you can make good on providing the choice that you provide to every other family, unless you make a decision after the deadline, unless you only tell them in an email midday, this might be a tough decision, and hard calls might need to be made, but this decision sets a precedent.
Thank you. And then following, we have Sam Duran. After Mr. Duran, we have Vanessa Ibarra.
Good evening, Superintendent Aquino, President Sebastian, and members of the board. My name is Miranda Isaguirre. I'm the reading teacher at Woodlawn Academy for 6th grade, a proud member of our union, the San Antonio Alliance, and a SAISD District 4 resident. I am here today to express my concern regarding the proposal to surrender our public schools to Third Future Schools, which is a private corporation. Additionally, the closure of Rhodes Middle School, where I completed my student teaching and I decided that I really wanted to become a teacher. The entire process of this decision has been completely inappropriate. In a recent round of school closures, treating staff and communities with dignity and respect appeared to be the top priority. I cannot say the same for this proposal, which has, for some reason, has had an expedited timeline and is severely lacking in community and worker engagement. This lack of engagement is even more egregious given the depths of change this proposal would bring. For example, the removal of electives and removing veteran teachers from students who absolutely need consistency. Tafoya recently completed their band hall with bond money from 2020. However, if this proposal passes, I'm not sure if the students will be able to use it, and the director of over 10 years will have to look for a position elsewhere. I just feel like that just sounds crazy. All students in SAISD, regardless on where they live, what side of town they live, deserve the opportunity to express themselves, to be creative, and to learn from people who care about them. I hope our board can be an example in uplifting public schools during a time where our governmental bodies are drifting very far away from democracy. For the following reasons, I ask that you absolutely reject this proposal and find one that better meets the needs of your community, despite the convenience that this one seems to bring to you. Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Aquino, President Sebastian, members of the board. My name is Sam Durandard, and I'm a SAISD District 1 resident where my children are currently thriving at Hawthorne Academy. I serve as a community organizer and steering committee member with our school, San Antonio, where I, alongside parents, caregivers, and public education advocate, organize to make our SAISD public schools the best place to learn, thrive, and grow. Tonight, it's on behalf of our members throughout the district that I stand in solidarity with the Rhodes, Tafoya, Ogden, and Hirsch communities for dignity and respect and against the violence of this proposal. And I speak of violence because what I recognize a state takeover of the district would be disastrous to all of us. The proposed closure of Rhodes Middle School, attendant displacement of its students to Tafoya, and handing over of Tafoya, Ogden, and Hirsch to Third Future Schools is a form of violence. Violence that is once again visiting our East Side and West Side communities already hard hit by school closures. You had an opportunity to mitigate this violence by ensuring that everyone knew what was going on and why it's happening. And the motion you passed that was stipulating that 75% of families had to be engaged in this process was a step in that direction. Unfortunately, it was quickly discarded for the sake of expediency, and with it, a valuable opportunity to educate the community on the constraints structuring our public education system. And today, as a result, too many in our school communities remain unaware of this proposal and its lasting implications. Our families deserve better, and this board can do better. That's why I ask that you reduce the scope of this proposal by removing at least one school from it and recommit to a robust, authentic community engagement process where our families are involved to co-create solutions to district challenges instead of being placed on the receiving end of top-down mandates that are too often rushed and hastily drawn. Nothing about us without us. Thank you.
Vanessa Ibarra, then we have Nana Gonzalez. Following Ms. Gonzalez, we have Leticia Sanchez. Vanessa. Okay, we're gonna move on to Nina Gonzalez. Okay. Leticia Sanchez.
Everybody's leaving. Hi, my name is Leticia Sanchez, and I'm here on behalf of the Historic Westside Residents Association, which represents Westside families who have lived and built communities in the Rhodes, Tafoya, Lanier neighborhoods for generations. I'm speaking about this proposal to close yet another one of our public schools in a working class community that has already endured decades of public disinvestment, and about the process that brought us here. We understand the pressures this district is under. We know the state of Texas has chronically underfunded public education. We know the TEA accountability system punishes schools serving the highest needs students. And we know the threat of a state takeover hangs over districts like ours, creating fear, urgency, and pressure to act quickly. But understanding those pressures does not mean accepting decisions that harm our children or silence our community. Because even under these conditions, the district still has a responsibility to engage families with honesty, transparency, and respect. And that has not happened. And now we're being told that closing another of our community schools is the solution. But if this school closes, our community will be left with only one public middle school feeding into our high school. You closed my middle school, Cooper, which leaves only Rhodes, and now you're gonna leave only Tafoya. That's only one school feeding into Lanier. That is not a plan for improvement, that's a plan for scarcity, and that's a plan that will destroy Lanier's arts and athletics programs. On top of that, the district is contracting with Third Future Schools, an operator that does not offer electives like band and athletics. These are not extras. They are programs that keep students engaged, connected, and proud of their school. When middle school students lose access to electives, the high school loses its future musicians, its future athletes, its future leaders. So yes, we understand the pressures you're